to you by...
It had been a number of years since the original team had excavated the ruins of the beloved franchise and unearthed the volume of ancient Sumerian burial practices and funerary incantations that summoned forth the Kandarian demons and possessed the poor souls unlucky enough to find themselves trapped within the walls of the Nobi cabin. It was time for new blood to inject the franchise with a new point of view and drag us screaming back into the woods for a torrent of unending violence and carnage, the likes of which we had not yet seen. Hello, Deadites, and welcome back to the Evil Dead franchise. The 2013 remake of Evil Dead, directed by Fede Alvarez, which I would not quite call a remake, but more a reimagining, or even just another separated entry into the universe, revitalizing the iconic horror franchise with a fresh take on the psychological aspects of fear, transformation, and catharsis. By delving into the intricate depths of the character's psyche, the film explores themes of addiction, guilt, and personal growth, departing heavily from the campy humor of its predecessor, and plunging into darker and more psychological realms. The film follows a group of friends who gather at a remote cabin in the woods to help Mia overcome her heroin addiction. Among them, Mia's estranged brother David, his girlfriend Natalie, and their childhood friends Eric and Olivia. While exploring the cabin, the group uncovers a mysterious and grotesque book, a new version of the Nacharam Demanto, or Book of the Dead if you don't know by now. Once again, bound in human skin. Ignoring warnings scrawled inside, Eric reads a passage aloud, inadvertently summoning a malevolent demonic entity. The evil force begins to possess the group, starting with Mia, who is tormented by horrifying visions and erratic behavior. As the night spirals into a blood-soaked nightmare, the friends are forced to confront the increasingly violent and grotesque consequences of the demon's influence. They must fight for survival as the cabin becomes a site for unspeakable carnage, with one shocking revelation leading to another. The film culminates in a relentless and gory showdown against the unleashed evil. Known for its intense gore, practical effects, and relentless pacing, this remake of Evil Dead updates the original's premise with a much darker tone, while paying homage to the spirit of the franchise. Fede Alvarez's involvement in the 2013 remake of Evil Dead can be traced back to his short film Panic Attack, and the attention it garnered within the film industry. Alvarez gained recognition in 2009 when he released this short film on YouTube. The short showcased his talent for crafting intense and visually stunning action sequences on a low budget. The short quickly went viral, attracting the attention of Hollywood producers and directors. Impressed by Alvarez's skills, Raimi and his producing partner Rob Tapper approached Alvarez with the idea of remaking Evil Dead. Raimi, who had been considering a remake of his cult classic for some time, saw Alvarez as a promising director who could bring a fresh perspective on the franchise. Alvarez eagerly accepted the opportunity, recognizing the significance of taking on such an iconic horror property. He understood the expectations and the responsibilities that came with remaking a beloved film like this, and he was determined to put his own stamp on the universe. Alvarez collaborated closely with Raimi and Tapper throughout the production process. Raimi serves as a producer of the film, providing guidance and support, sharing his insights and expertise from his experiences with the original trilogy. This collaboration ensured that the remake maintained a connection to the spirit of the original films, while offering a new contemporary twist. With his background in creating visually stunning action sequences, Alvarez brought a unique style and approach to the horror genre. His emphasis on practical effects and minimal use of CGI contributed to the film's visceral and authentic feel. This commitment to the practical allowed for more realistic and tangible horrors, enhancing the psychological impact on the audience, while also delivering the violence and practical gore that we all expected from a return to this franchise, even going so far as to set a record for the largest amount of blood ever used on a motion picture at that time. The film continues the legacy of the Book of the Dead. The book serves as a conduit for evil, unleashing demonic forces upon those who read from its pages. In this remake, the book is given more prominence and detail, yet its origins are still left a complete mystery. It becomes a key element in the plot, driving the events and intensifying the horror. While the original films primarily focused on external demonic possession, the remake introduces the theme of addiction and personal demons. Mia's struggle with substance abuse and the haunting guilt that she carries contribute to the internal turmoil that fuels the horrors that she faces. This expansion on the psychological aspects of the story add layers of complexity to the mythology, emphasizing the idea that evil can manifest from within. This remake offers a more detailed and visually explicit portrayal of the possession and transformation process. The demonic entity takes hold of individuals, distorting their bodies and minds in horrific ways. This explanation of the physical transformation of the possessed individuals adds to the grotesque and visceral nature of the horror. It also underscores the idea that once evil takes hold, it corrupts and consumes every aspect of the person. We are also introduced to a new, never-before-seen creature, the Abomination. This monstrous entity represents the culmination of the demonic forces, and serves as the embodiment of the evil. Its appearance and abilities are more explicitly shown, showcasing a grotesque, intimidating form. The inclusion of the Abomination adds a climactic element to the story, and heightens the stakes for the characters. As I said, one of the primary themes in this film is addiction, represented through the character of Mia. Her struggles with substance abuse become a central element of this story, and her presence in this isolated cabin serves as an opportunity for her friends and brother to support her in her journey to recovery. The film highlights the destructive nature of addiction. As Mia's withdrawal symptoms intensify, her addiction becomes a metaphorical gateway for the evil to take hold of her, blurring the lines between physical and psychological torment. As expected, the film also explores the concept of possession quite heavily, as the demonic forces gradually consume and control characters. While possession is often associated with supernatural entities taking over one's body, here we delve deeper by juxtaposing possession with addiction. It suggests that addiction itself can be a form of possession, with the individual losing control and becoming enslaved to their cravings and destructive behaviors. The psychological impact of addiction and possession is evident in the characters' experiences. As they become possessed, their personalities transform, and they undergo a profound psychological deterioration. They exhibit violent and self-destructive behaviors, further blurring the lines between addiction and possession. The film explores the idea that addiction, like possession, can corrupt one's sense of self and lead to loss of agency, resulting in a psychological descent into darkness. The film also touches on the complex relationship between addiction and personal responsibility. While addiction is portrayed as a disease, the film raises questions about accountability. It suggests that despite external influences, individuals still bear some responsibility for their actions, and the consequences that follow. The characters' struggle with addiction and possession highlight the internal battle between personal agency and external forces. David, played by Shiloh Fernandez, carries a burden of guilt and responsibility for his sister Mia. His journey becomes one of redemption and self-discovery as he confronts his past actions. The film delves into the psychological impact of guilt and how it can manifest in destructive ways, leading to a compelling character arc for David. Additionally, the film explores the paradoxical nature of violence as a means of catharsis. While violence offers temporary catharsis for the characters, it comes with lasting psychological consequences. The survivors must grapple with the traumatic aftermath of their actions, leading to a sense of guilt and further psychological torment. We explore the cycle of violence and its impact on the character's psyche, emphasizing the long-lasting effects of trauma. Speaking of, this film delves into the psychological exploration of trauma and its profound effects on the characters. Each protagonist carries their own emotional baggage, and the demonic possession becomes a manifestation of their deepest fears. The film presents a nuanced portrayal of trauma as a driving force for the character's development, showcasing the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable horrors. Despite the harrowing experiences, the characters undergo a transformative journey that leads to empowerment and personal growth, at least for those who are left. Through their struggles, they discover inner strength and resilience. The film explores the psychological concept of post-traumatic growth, highlighting the character's ability to overcome adversity and emerge stronger. Their experiences serve as catharsis for personal growth and transformation. The depiction of resilience in the face of extreme psychological torment reinforces the idea that trauma can lead to profound self-discovery and even empowerment, however short-lived it may be. The film employs a carefully crafted visual language to enhance its psychological impact. The dark and foreboding atmosphere, combined with unsettling visuals, create a sense of unease and tension. Symbolic imagery, such as the use of mirrors and reflections, adds depth to the psychological themes explored in the film, reflecting, no pun intended, the characters' internal struggles and fractured identities. The film's sound design further enhances its psychological horror elements. From eerie whispers to bone-chilling screams, the auditory experience plays a pivotal role in manipulating the audience's emotions and heightening psychological tension. The strategic use of silence and sudden bursts of intense sound contributes to the sense of psychological dissonance and unpredictability. I would say it's arguable that while many of us diehards for years were screaming for Raimi, Campbell, and Tappert to bring on the Evil Dead, bring on the Evil Dead, bring on the Evil Dead, this reimagining revitalizes the interest in the franchise for a broader audience, and introduces a new generation to the horrors of the Necronomicon. It demonstrated the enduring appeal of psychological horror, and the willingness of audiences to engage with complex and thought-provoking narratives, while still going balls to the wall and drowning us in a torrent of blood and gore. I feel that it masterfully blends psychological horror with visceral imagery, taking the franchise into darker and more introspective territory. Through the exploration of addiction, guilt, trauma, and personal growth, the film delves deep into the psychological depths of its characters, showcasing its significance as a thought-provoking and terrifying cinematic experience. Well, friends, that's going to be all for now. I thought I would try to focus more on the themes throughout this one rather than the details we all already know. As always, I will link the physical release down in the description. If you don't have this in your collection already, you need to own it. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more content, and if you really want to help support this channel, please come find us on Patreon. Until next time, stay safe. Once again, do not read from flesh-bound books that you find hidden in the basements of cabins that you rent for a weekend. What the fuck is wrong with you people? And as always, thanks for watching.